really intrigued, Chris, in the email you sent, just all the different stories. I know you mentioned Steve's cousin, your mom's mother. Can you just kind of take me through it? Steve can go first, Chris, it doesn't matter. Just kind of get an idea of where you guys are coming from with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been touched in so many different ways by cancer and various other diseases, and Steve's cousin Danny is very special to him, and I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, my cousin, we were only a few years apart in age, and when he was 4, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and I guess was given only maybe 6 months or so to live, and turned out he lived 14 years and didn't pass away until he was 18. But even throughout that whole time, we were always really close and spent a lot of time together, and we played t-ball together, and we did all these things together. And he was, at my age, being young as well, I didn't really kind of grasp it as well at the time. But when I look back at it now, he really, just connected with me, and I connected with him, and it was just good times, to see him so happy, even though he was going through such trying times. So, but I look back at it now, and it's sad, but at the same time, I really enjoyed the time I had with him.
How did you live 14 years after?
It was, he's actually written up in, I guess, in like medical books and journals and stuff like that for having lived that long. It was something, pretty much just a miracle. I guess something that, sometimes God can step in and let us, get through things.
Right. Was there, as far as just his routine and any treatment that you get him, what did you have to do with that?
I don't know exactly. It was, periodically it was just times where he was in the hospital. But back then I think they couldn't really operate on the brain tumors where his was. So it wasn't much they could really do. It was just kind of a waiting thing for him. And so it was, just periodically he would be in the hospital, and we'd go visit him, and then he'd be out, and then we'd have our fun and stuff like that.
Right. Do you remember, I guess, the instance when you heard of the diagnosis, as far as just what you were
No, I was too young. I was too young to remember exactly when it was.
You were like 5.
Yeah, I think I was 6 and he was 4. So,
Right.
I don't really quite remember the exact moments, but I just knew it while we were young. I knew he had this issue.
Right.
And I've heard stories of when Danny was in the hospital, his room was all Steve stuff. When Steve was going to Maryland, he had like Steve's jerseys up, and they watched Steve's Oak Hill games through high school and everything. And Danny just really loved Steve and looked up to him a lot.
Yeah. Can you touch a little bit on that? I mean, from what Chris was saying, he kind of saw you as his hero and vice versa. What did you get out of that?
I mean, it was, when at my age, I was like, I didn't understand, quite why. I just knew we had a great relationship. But at the same time, it was pretty cool to have someone look up to you. But at the same time, I kind of looked up to him, with seeing how strong he was and how courageous he was with going through the things he was going through. But he was so positive, like just all the time.
Yeah.
He was always smiling and joking and being himself. And so to see someone going through that tough type of stuff, but still, be happy all the time is pretty amazing.
Did that make it easier for you as far as handling that as well, knowing his demeanor in terms of how he was?
Yeah, I mean, he almost at times, you didn't even realize he was going through it, just because he was just being himself, and, he had lived a while with it, and yeah, just to see him so happy, made it easier, yeah.
Right, so let's see, T-ball, and he was watching some of your games in Maryland. What other things did you guys?
We always get together and just watch football games. We were big, Miami Hurricanes fans, and we'd get together for big games when they played Florida State, and just the times I'd go to his house and spend time with him. He'd come over to our house, and a lot of family functions and things like that. So.
Gotcha. And then when that unfortunate day came, when he passed from that, how did you go about processing and handling that?
It was tough, because I got to see him, probably the week before in the hospital, and it was cool because he had a Maryland shirt on when I went to visit him and stuff, and you don't really quite, get the whole life and death thing, you know. And it was tough to handle, but I think just playing basketball kind of helped me get through it, you know, gave me something to focus on. And I knew he'd want me to push through it and not dwell on it and just move forward.
Just for my background, do you know what the date was for that?
No, I think it was my second year in college. So that would be
2001.
2001, yeah.
So you're saying you used basketball as a refuge from there. What did that do for you, for a cathartic standpoint?
As far as basketball,
Yeah.
that's kind of like my refuge for a lot of things, really. You get on the court and your focus is just on what you have to do out there. And so it's easy to kind of put things out of your mind for that couple hours, at least, you know. And so that's what I did. You go out there and play games or practice and kind of just use that time to be focused on that and not let all the outside things kind of bother you.
Did your teammates have that connection with him as well? I mean, were they familiar with his story? Did they know?
In high school, my high school teammates and stuff knew about it. Not so much in college, just because he was back in Miami and I was all the way up in Maryland, so he couldn't quite visit, you know. So they didn't quite know about it as much as, you know, the kids did when I played basketball back home.
Gotcha. Well, what was that like in high school when you're playing, you know, with them and they knew the story and he's following you and all that?
You know, it wasn't something that was put in the forefront, really. It was,
Right.
you know, he'd come watch some games here and there, and he was just a part, you know, just another relative of mine, really, you know. And so we really didn't put too much emphasis on it. It wasn't like we, you know, it was a big thing every time he was around. You know, he was just another cousin, and we didn't.
Danny did get to do a Make-A-Wish with, didn't he meet Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
When was that?
I don't know what year that was. I don't know, but he got to do the Make-A-Wish Foundation and got a chance to meet Michael Jordan. That was one of his wishes, and so that was pretty cool to see how excited he got over that.
Yeah. What did he talk about that experience?
Actually, the one
Choked on a hot dog.
well, he
What was that?
choked on a hot dog while he was there,
That's
but they
the
had a
story
scary
his family
incident.
always tells.
Yeah, but I think one of the biggest thing, I guess, was when Jordan came over to him, instead of asking for his autograph, Danny autographed something and gave it to Michael. So it was, that was his type of humor. So he's just that's just something he would do. You know, just Michael was privileged just enough to meet him. So
That's pretty funny.
I don't know if Jordan would remember that or not, but it was pretty
What
interesting.
was his mood like after that? I mean, that experience he was seeing.
Just upbeat. He just thought it was really cool, and it was cool, you know, because his mom got to be there with them, so it was kind of cool for their whole family. It wasn't just for him; it was kind of the whole family to make him feel better.